I'm not really sure who takes the blame for the topic of this podcast. One of them, all of them, that hasn't been decided. I'm on about Apple, Motorola, Xiaomi, or Nokia around these parts. But what are they being blamed for? Well, according to Jesus Fernandez Villaverde, an economics professor from Pennsylvania and a researcher for demographic change, he blamed the falling population rates on the rollout of cell phones on the market. He says that once people are linked by a mobile phone or other social media device, the need for personal encounters between youngsters has diminished, and that the economic fallout of a reduced population is waiting to happen. Less encounters, personal encounters, less babies being made,
Yes.
and less demand on factories, and of course they're all going to lose profits, and
Yeah.
it
And
snowballs onto that. This notion has been backed up by researchers Nathan Hudson and Heman Moscoso Boedo of the University of Cincinnati, examining birth rates during the marketing of 4G mobile networks both in the UK and the US. Other countries mentioned in the article were Brazil and South Korea. The researchers argued their point that modern day cell phones change the way young people spend time together, if together at all. We've seen them, a young couple linked more to their phones than each other. I sent you that image of the
yes.
couple in the airport,
Yeah.
just hunkered down in their own phones and not
Yeah.
speaking with each other. We've seen they said that the birth rate between young people in the UK and Australia was stable in the year 2000, beginning to fall in 2007, when almost everybody had a phone in their hand.
Yeah.
Similar trends have been spotted around the world. France and Poland saw the same thing in 2009.
Yeah.
Mexico, Morocco, and Indonesia in around 2012.
Mm.
And Ghana, Nigeria, and Senegal saw the phenomenon between 2013 and 2015.
Yeah.
According to Eurostat, who published the report, they said that the EU would suffer a decline in native populations of 11% over the next 75 years.
Mm.
The population will peak to be 453 million by 2029,
Yeah.
but will fall back to 400 million by the end of the century,
Yeah.
with women giving birth to 1.3 children only. To keep a stable rate of a population stable, a lady needs to have 2.2 children
Yes.
on average, and at the moment it's going to be 1.3.
Yeah.
So the population rate is going to fall.
Mm.
Could this be why some schools are wanting to ban cell phones during school time
Mm.
to make the students talk to each other personally for their social needs?
Yeah.
Uh, Not that I'm cheering on young girls getting pregnant at an early age,
Yeah. I understand.
but
Yeah.
I think that if the students come back to being more social
Yeah.
personally and
Mm.
less on their phones, you know, when they leave school, it'll be a lot easier for them to make friends and make their babies later on.
Yeah. Yeah. Okay. Yes. Yeah. Well, obviously, I have a young person in my house, 20s, and yeah, they are fully aware of social media and use it a lot as well. Sometimes the benefit is like my daughter, she managed to rebuild a PC with the help of somebody 2,000 kilometers away in the country. Yeah, a young man, as it happens. Um, yeah, I just met on the gaming network, and he helped her talked her through a few things, and yeah, got her helping. So to say, yeah, they network in a different way. Now, I agree in some ways they're probably more social than we were. In other ways, yes, it's this personal physical encounters. When I say physical, obviously I mean not touching each other, but actually in
Face to
presence.
face.
Yeah, face to
Yeah.
face, in presence with each other. And I do think they do enjoy it. Youngsters will still meet. Well, we call them shopping malls here. in shopping centres and in other places. And if I walk through the local park to me, there's a lot of youngsters, and they got their beat boxes or their boom bars or ghetto blasters, as we used to call them, boom boxes, ghetto blasters, and they're dancing and doing things together and laughing and enjoying life. So I do think they do socialize, possibly not as much. Now, the stopping of mobile phones in schools is for a lot of reasons. And one of them is attention to the teacher. So they used to have them out in class time. And then the other thing is, do they actually need, and I do agree with you there, a phone during school time where they've got no reason to contact their parents? The school, they're in a safe space. The school will hopefully be a safe space for them and secure place. So they don't need to contact the parents. So yes, I know there's some schools now that have where they have to surrender their mobile phones or into a special place and collect them at the end of the day when they need them to go home or whatever else they need them for. There are a lot of youngsters also who possibly not as addicted to the phones as probably my generation are, because we grew up with the technology more than yours. Yeah, my generation, the Gen X, we did literally start in an analog and did end up and grew up the rapid change, whereas your generation, yes, have had to adapt to it. We grew up with it. But I'm also going to say this about socializing. A lot of people talking about the gamers, about the people who are on internet a lot, looking at different things from around the world. They will meet at the Comic Cons. And
you're looking at a very narrow band of people there, Mark. You know, you are, yeah. I mean, not everybody goes to a Comic Con. A lot of people do, but it's everything's relative.
Yeah,
you know, there's 8.5 billion people on this planet.
Yeah,
and I wouldn't say that 5 billion would go to a Comic Con.
No, but
right?
what I'm saying.
I mean, I'll give you an example. Give you an example. I was thinking about this the other day. In fact, I made an article about it, which I'm going to publish soon.
Yeah.
Julia, my ex-missus, we met in Switzerland. We met at a breakfast table in a hotel.
Yeah.
And it was her mate that spoke to me.
Yeah.
We were both sat at the table, and her mate spoke to me. Just spoke about anything and nothing. Just spoke.
Yeah.
You know.
Yes.
And 40 years later, here I am. I've got 2 kids.
Yeah.
Right. Now, I was asking to myself, what if that lady didn't speak to me? What if she didn't make a conversation?
Yeah.
What if, and it's quite easy. It could be quite easy that today, if it happened today, the same thing. She was just into her phone. She'd look at her phone and be on WhatsApp with her mates back in Brazil. Didn't speak to me at all.
Yeah.
You know, and we'd go our separate ways. And that's what I'm trying to get at.
Yeah.
That's what this research is about. It's not about a certain group of people specifically who are all modern and are going to go to Comic-Con dressed in the furries.
Yeah.
And and try and meet like-minded people there.
Yeah.
You know, I mean, that's to think that that'll be the future of this population of this planet. That's a horrifying thought.
Well, what trick is Star Wars? Yeah, Star Wars.
You know,
thing. I mean,
that's
well, that's kind of a paradise for me. But but it is. Yeah, I understand what you're saying. I mean, the chance encounters, but I think you could always argue that could happen. But yes, I do agree with you that we're all becoming more insular. And don't forget, a few years ago, due to a global pandemic, we were encouraged to be insular. Yeah, stuck in the family units or the family bubble. Yeah, and
we were stuck in family unit. Mark, in the US, around about 50, 60 years ago, there's a huge power cut.
Yeah,
and nobody had any energy. And all of a sudden, the population 9 months later boomed.
Yeah,
because everybody without any power, there's nothing else to do.
Yeah.
You took your missus, took her to bed, and had your evil way with her.
Well, yeah, but that you've
So
already made your
people have
miss.
had,
Yeah.
so during the lock-ins of the
Yeah.
COVID, that would have been a time when babies were made left, right, and centre.
Yeah.
Surely,
Yeah. Well, I agree. Yeah, and people on their mobile phones or watching Netflix or
yeah.
doing
There
something
you are.
else. And yes, I mean, I do agree with you that intimacy. So okay as that. And then, but when you're talking about meeting people in rural communities, there was always the country fairs and
Yes,
farmers
of course.
farmers gatherings and all that. The idea was that younger people would who lived in isolated places
They
um,
still do.
yeah, would meet each other. And the idea was to actually have quite a wide catchment because you didn't want cousins marrying cousins, as it were. I'm not saying this
No,
is,
no.
yeah. And so, yes, that used to be encouraged. Now, maybe there should be a push for more of that. I mean, we used to have, don't forget, even when I was growing up, we had youth groups. Yeah, and I'm agreeing with you here on this. We had youth groups, we had church groups. The idea of the Catholic churches, or Catholic Church, I can
Oh,
speak about, I can't speak about other churches. The idea was that they would have gatherings where other Catholics would meet other Catholics.
oh,
When we're talking about online, there's certainly it only flashed up on a few times because obviously it's picked up. Yeah, there are actually Catholic meeting sites. So a little bit like, yeah, that where the idea is that you can meet and engage in other Catholics, a bit like a dating agency, but for yeah, Catholics. I'm just as an example. So technology is trying to encourage this, and Catholics can engage with each other. There are people meeting on Facebook and then going for an encounter and finding that they actually do get on and are getting married. Um, and yeah, okay, there's other apps as well available. So it might be a bit strange now that this is still quite new technology we're dealing with. And it might be that the Gen Zs and the Gen Alphas will find a way to do the socializing to actually blend what they're doing with. I mean, a lot of them are actually craving to go and have the physical relationships with people. And
you know,
mm,
I was thinking about this some time ago. When I was a kid, and I say a kid,
yeah,
17, 18, 19 years of age,
yeah,
we didn't have cell phones.
no,
And if we saw somebody that we liked, we had to write a letter.
yeah,
If we met somebody and then we were separated, we'd write letters to each other.
mm,
And that sort of made the bond a lot stronger because we'd know that on a Tuesday a letter would arrive,
yeah,
and we'd wait for the letter thing on the door for the letter to be pushed through by the postman
yeah,
and read the letter. And that drew us together for some reason. It
yeah,
drew the the boy and the girl together.
yeah,
What happens now? What happens now on online is you're there. You can speak to them 24 hours a day,
yeah,
and you lose that passion. You lose
yeah,
that drawing together. And so everybody they'd meet on, like you
yeah,
said, they'd meet on the internet.
yeah,
But when you meet face to face, there's no more passion there. There's nothing there.
yeah. Um, well, it's interesting because you just brought to mind there's a British comedian called Jimmy Carr who's a little bit of a
Yeah,
philosopher and well read,
yeah,
and he
yeah.
made the point of online content, and we know what we're talking about here. I mean, we girls look at it as well. We know what we're talking about, the adult content, as it were. Yeah,
Okay.
and he made the point if it's instant gratification that
Yeah,
to stay off that and to get out to a bar. And he said that put the phone down, don't look at this content, and go to a bar and all that. He said how needy must you be for a man to have the confidence to go up to a girl and start talking, if you understand, because if we're satisfied, we won't do that. If you've had too many chocolates, as it were, if you understand, you're not going to
yes, yeah.
want some more. And synthetic chocolate. So he sort of said, do that. If you put the phone down, don't go on these sites. Get the parents to put the blocks on it, as it were, which you can do in some areas. And yeah, you find they'll find then how needy would you have to be then to get the courage to actually go and approach a young lady. or it can be reversed. I mean, I don't see any reasons why girls can't approach men, although men,
Well,
the reactions,
and they do. They did with me in my case.
yeah. And, which, I've got no problems with a girl. I mean, the trouble is men go shyer than women do. Women have control of the situation normally. I'm not saying.
That isn't important.
Yeah.
That's on an individual basis.
But it's actually that encounter and meeting. And I thought that was actually a very, very interesting point. Again, the technology is relatively new. We don't really know about it when governments are talking about controlling it and stopping things and all. They're probably not wrong in some ways. I'm not advocating they do it, and they've got it all wrong. But yes, we've got to learn how to engage and use ourselves as a species. Otherwise, well, certain elements of us are going to disappear. Yeah, it's just not. Yeah, it's not across the countries you mentioned. It's across Asia as well. Big tracts of Asia. I mean, you mentioned Japan, but Asia's having the same problem. And I was reading this morning about China having a population decrease.
Yes, a terrible problem. But
Yeah.
that's because that is because of the politics of China, because of the two baby ban they used to have.
Yeah, I know. Yeah, there's lots of things, but they are a technically, I say advanced. They are a technically aware society. Certain elements are as well, which is possibly adding to the problem as well.
China, the government in China is trying to incentivize people to have more children.
Yeah. Whereas our governments across the West are saying there's overpopulation, which is complete nonsense because you just don't know what's happened. We've just come out of a global pandemic, which I suppose was a warning. You need a big population. I mean, you do need a big population to be able to survive a serious issue, be that a conflict, be that a natural issue. Let's just say, a pandemic or something else, or volcanoes and earthquakes. Playing the numbers game. And it should be a natural desire. And like you say, people are either engaging in the technology all the time, or they're not for some reason. Yeah, they call it fertility rates. They're dropping off, whatever reason that is. And there could be medical reasons. Women, don't forget also women are wanting a career or wanting a career.
That's an aggravation that's an aggravation. That's not necessarily
the main
norm.
Well, but when we're talking, I mean, we all could be saying everything is the sum of the main part, the big part,
Yeah, sure.
Everything feeds in and you've got a perfect storm.